Okay, everybody. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, good morning, everybody. We're going to go ahead and kick this show off and get it on down the road here. Okay, a couple admin notes. Hopefully everybody's doing well this morning, staying safe and healthy. We've already covered that. If you would go ahead and drop in the chat where everybody is calling in from today, what city and state. I know we've had some folks from out of the area chiming in on some of our calls. So if you would go ahead and drop a note in there and let us know where you're coming from. My assistant Pamela is on the call as well and will help you with anything that's needed. You want to go ahead and say hi, Pam?
Good morning, everyone. And if you do have questions while Tim's talking, if you'll message me directly, I keep an eye on the chat to see if you have questions, but generally he isn't paying attention to that while he's talking. So just so you are aware.
Yeah, Pam's monitoring the chat, and you'll also have a phone number here in a minute that you can call as well if there's real problems. So, okay, thank you, Pam. This event is being recorded and will be uploaded into the members area as well as at the bottom of the calendar event for today's event. So you will get this presentation, and all you have to do is click on the link here and you will be able to go right to it. That's another way of getting to it as well. So, but this is one of the big benefits for members, is that all of our training is uploaded to the website. So you'll have this presentation, the audio and the video that you can go back and play and watch for the last 6 months. Okay, for the best quality of audio and video, I recommend you turn off any kind of unnecessary programs that may be taking up a computer processor or internet bandwidth. You'll see that you have a lot better call that way. Another way to improve the quality of sound is wear a headset if you'd like to. A lot of people say that does help. Please mute yourself when you're not speaking to minimize the background noise for others. And in the recording, you are welcome to unmute anytime you have a question. If others are talking, just please let them speak and then you can ask your question. Please put any kind of questions you have in the chat box for us. And if you don't mind, please start it off with question capitalized and then spell it out from there. That way it'll be a lot easier to spot in the chat that you have a question. If you have any kind of longer questions that take a little bit of text and maybe a bit of a work to respond, please send those to our new email address, questions@westdfwreigroup.com. Just email those questions and I'll do my best to answer those as soon as possible. Okay, this is a special request since this topic is all about getting started in your first 12 months in the business. I'd like for you to go ahead and drop those questions in the chat box that you do have so that I can be sure and address those today. I want to try and answer those questions on the call if at all possible. If it turns out that there's too many or it's really long, then we may not be able to get them all answered, but I will personally respond to all the questions. I've got a lot of stuff that I'm covering today, but there's always a potential for missing something because I did just put all this together. This is a brand new class that I've put together, so it's possible I missed something. So again, put all those in the chat. Please be courteous to others and don't talk over them. I know sometimes when you're on a internet call like this, sometimes there's a delay and it sounds like you're talking over each other, but just do our best to be courteous to one another and let everybody have their time to speak. If you have any quality issues with video, turn your video off and then log off and back in. If anyone loses the call, do the same thing. Just log back in. Same thing here. I'm on an internet call as well. So if I happen to lose internet, that means you're going to lose it. I'll log back in as soon as I possibly can. So just want to say that because some people do have internet problems. Okay. Just use the same link that you originally used. It'll still work for this class. For those of you that are new to the group, welcome to the West DFW REI group. We're a like-minded group of folks networking, brainstorming, joint venturing, partnering, motivating, sharing ideas. We're all here to make more money and be a win-win for all. That's what this group has been all about for the last 10.5 years. So come network, learn, and do more deals is kind of our motto now. And I really believe this, that the more networking, the more education you have, you're going to learn how to do more deals and do more deals together. So that's kind of our motto. So this is something brand new. When we did physical meetings, we had a deal table set up where you could go put a flyer out for the houses that you had available. And what I did here for the virtual is just to make it easy for everybody is come in here and just click on this link and it takes you right to the property listings page. So this is where for all the members in the group and other users of this same system across the country, their properties show up on this page. So if you're an active investor looking for a deal, then here's where you're going to find them. Okay. So this is what I'm calling our virtual deal table now, is the property listings page. For those of you that weren't on the earlier call, there's my new rehab fix and flip down in Granbury. The first 24 hours, I had 4 showings and 3 offers. And Lisa, I do think I have it sold. I've got an offer of $15,000 over asking price without asking for any, without nickel and diming me to death with the expenses and stuff. So it's a gorgeous house. For those of you new in the business, go check out this house here and you'll see what I'm talking about in our most recent rehab. Okay, sponsors. So we're going to go ahead and let the sponsors jump on here and give us a quick introduction. I know I saw Ryan. Ryan, you want to go ahead and unmute and say hello?
Sure. And you saw Rodney too. He's in here. But so my name is Ryan. I work with Longhorn Investments. We are a private money lender. Basically what it is we will lend you money to purchase and fix up a home. And then you can either flip it or refinance it into a long-term, using somebody like Service First Mortgage and hold it as a rental. The big thing with our loans is we do not require a down payment. So if you buy the home right, you are not putting anything down other than your closing costs. And then something that I got news on, so if you guys have been on these meetings before, you heard me that with COVID and the uncertainty, we had to lower some of our lending terms to where we were only advancing up to 65 to 70% of the home's after repaired value. We're now back up to where we typically have been, which is 70 to 75% of the home's after repair value. So the market is still hot. We're lending like that. So if you guys want more information on what it would look like to use our money, if you have a deal coming up, I'm always willing to give you a term sheet so you can see exactly all the costs that would be involved. Just feel free to let me know. I'm going to drop my contact info in the chat, and I should be on this call at least for another hour. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Otherwise, reach out to me later on during the day.
Cool.
Does anybody have any questions right now?
Anybody have any questions for Ryan? Thank you, Ryan.
All right, thank you.
Morning, Rodney. You want to go ahead and unmute yourself there, please?
Good morning. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Here, I'm going to turn off my video because I'm on my cell today. I work with Real Estate IQ, and one of the big things that we've started this year is a lot of online training, and you can find that out on our community website at realestateiq.co. And on there is events that are coming up. There's also groups that you can become a part of to ask questions. There is the marketplace where you can find vendors in addition to the great vendors that are here and sponsors. And then, of course, we have our off-market lead list. Now, lately, the pre-foreclosure list, because of what the government has been doing and stopping foreclosures and stopping evictions, there's been some movement still, but not as much as in the past. But we also have divorce lists, probate lists, lien lists, tax liens and tax sales, all kinds of a list, total of 11 different lists. So there's lots of other opportunity out there for off-market leads. And like Tim had said earlier, we have the analysis suite, which allows you to run your own comps off the MLS. And that happens whenever you subscribe to the club here. You can get that 6 months free. And that's about it. Any questions?
Thank you, Rodney. Anybody have any questions for Rodney while we got him?
Yeah, what was that site again?
realestateiq.co.
.co.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Thank you.
You bet.
Thank you, Rodney. Ooh, good morning, Robin. You want to unmute yourself and say hello?
Good morning.
Welcome.
Thank you. I see several people have their t-shirts on this morning. That's good.
Yeah.
Well, I have, my company is Bearcat Capital, and we buy and sell real estate notes that are secured by real estate, typically single family. And really, I'm here if you have questions for, maybe you're creating a note for the first time, or just have general questions about what type of terms or what things that you need to look for when you're putting your note together. Or if you're thinking about selling it and you're just not sure what can I get for it, just anything like that. I'm here to help you and answer any questions. I don't have all the answers, but I will do the best I can. I've been doing this for quite a while, and I do have, I hate to say it, but probably 30 plus years in real estate anyway. So maybe if I don't have an answer, I will look for somebody to help you out. And I will put my name and number in the chat, but you can also go to the website and find all my contact info. And like Ryan said, I'll probably be on the call for another hour, and then I have other things scheduled today. So feel free to reach out anytime. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Robin. Anybody have any questions for Robin at all? Okay. Good morning, Ruth Ann. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Am I unmuted yet?
You are.
Okay, very good. Well, good morning. I am a traditional lender, really, but with many non-traditional products. Service First has been designated as one of the top 5 in the Metroplex. So even though we're not a Wells or a Chase, we are a big, big player. The reason we have some non-traditional products, we're not brokering them out to unknown people. We have a relationship with like a sister bank, and that's who we do our non-traditional products with, our bank statement programs, our putting up additional collateral and putting nothing down on a property for somebody that's strong, things like that. So that in that way, we're non-traditional. I provide mostly for the investors. They think about me when they think about buyers who cannot come up with all their down payment closing costs. And I do provide all of the city federal grants to buyers who haven't owned a home in the last 3 years. And now, since the financial crisis is steadied a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit, our state programs will be back. And some of those allow people who still own a home, they can keep their home for their rental, and they can use this money for a down payment on the home they're moving into. So that's a huge help for investors. I think one of the most popular products I have for investors, other than just financing their first deal or whatever, is the delayed financing. I think I've talked before about one of our members started with paying cash at the courthouse steps, and as long as he comes to me within the first 6 months, I can give him financing on something he paid cash for and give him up to 75% of the true value of the property. That's been huge for him. He started with me and had his own home that I didn't finance. He already had that. So I've done this for him for 4 properties, and now he's bought another home I've done for him, and right now he's refinancing all 5. So that's been huge for more than just that one member, but that he has had the most activity from this delayed financing program when you pay cash. So he pulls from 401k, whatever. We do this, he puts it back in 401k. It's as if it never left.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Anyone have any questions for Ruth Ann?
And can she put her contact in the chat for us?
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay.
Dan, sorry, I missed out on a little bit. You said, are you doing any of the first-time home buyer programs right now?
All of them.
Okay, because I knew when COVID started that you had stopped doing some of those grants for temporarily.
Just the state programs, but the city programs have gone all along, and now the state programs are coming back October the 1st. So we
Awesome.
can go ahead and contract now and use that money for closing.
Awesome. I'll pass your name on to a client then.
Great.
So I have a quick question on that one too. So I know my wife's been wanting to, we kind of in the same thing, but I'm more involved than she is, but I know she's been wanting to acquire her first rental property as well. So, and she was considering pulling from 401k for the right price. So I think your services might come in handy because like you said, she can pull and then like kind of put it right back
Right.
at the same time. So I was like, that's what I was trying to see if I'm understanding that correctly. Maybe that can help out a little bit.
That is right. That's absolutely correct. But you don't get to base your 75% of value on the true value of the property unless you do this in the first 6 months after you paid cash.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, I'll get your contact as well.
Great.
Thank you, Ruth Ann.
Thank you.
Okay, do we have any other sponsors on the call that I didn't see? I didn't call on? I didn't see anybody else.
Those were the only 4 that I've
Okay.
seen.
All righty. Let me get back to my screen here. Okay, do you see the Think Realty screen now?
Yes, we do.
Okay, thank you. I just want to make sure I was sharing the right thing again. So Think Realty is another one of your benefits as a member of the group. This is a free account where you can register using this promo code WestDFW, and you get discounts to all these different services here. Sherwin-Williams, Sunbelt Tools, eBarnett is now Home Depot Pro Specialty Services. And that's where we've been buying a lot of our rehab materials as far as appliances, lights, fans, fixtures, that kind of stuff. So much cheaper than even Home Depot, walking into the Home Depot store. So big benefits there to you, and it's a free account. So I would encourage you to go register there. You can either text, like down here in the bottom, text the word West DFW to that number, or you can click this link up here in the top where it says free here, and join from there as well. Again, it's Home Depot Pro now instead of eBarnett. So for anyone that has a product or service related to real estate, we encourage you to reach out to us if you're interested in becoming a sponsor. We're looking for other sponsors. We need sponsors you can trust to help support the membership here. What we don't want to do is have you going out and, you know, looking through Craigslist or find the wrong person, the wrong contractor, and end up being the next news article where they took your money and never come back and did the work. These are sponsors you can trust. All of our sponsors have been with us for years. They are well known in the Metroplex and in the business, and you really can send your grandmother to them and still sleep good at night. So please reach out to us if you're interested in becoming a sponsor of the group, or if you know someone that you've personally dealt with, that would be a good addition to the group as well. Okay, why are we here? How to survive your first 12 months as a new real estate investor successfully. That's what we really need, right? Successfully. You don't want to just survive it. You want to be successful at the end of that first 12 months. Again, just a reminder, if you had some topics specifically for this month's meeting that you want to make sure I cover, please put it in the chat box. If it's a long question, I would ask you to put it in the questions at West DFW REI Group email and email it to us, and we will respond. But I've got a lot of topics, a lot of content here to cover today, and it won't surprise me if I have missed something, but I just want to try and cover as much as I can, and we'll go ahead and get started here. I'm going to switch over to my other presentation. Give me 1 second. I'm working on 2 different screens here, trying to be able to manage this, so it takes a little bit of manipulating here. Okay, can you see the screen now?
We can.
Thank you. Okay, so this is a topic that I've been meaning to do for a long time. It's a question that I get frequently from new investors, and I'm sure that a lot of you that have been around a while know that a lot of folks come in this business and get out just as fast as they get in, because it turns out it requires some work. It's not as easy as what people think it is. Yes, some people get lucky to start with, but there's a lot of the reasons why people don't stick around is they don't think it through and structure themselves correctly, get organized, and set things up appropriately. And consequently, they find that it's hard, or maybe they find that they've gotten themselves in trouble not doing something correctly, and things like that. So we're going to talk a lot about thought processes and things to consider and so forth that hopefully will allow you to get through your first 12 months successfully and make some money during that time frame and have your business set up appropriately. So we're going to cover a lot of stuff today. We're going to talk about your why, your business model, education, planning and organization, buying strategies, budgets, marketing plans, funding your deals, daily routines, task management, building credibility, investor tools to consider, building your power team. We're going to talk about what not to do. You think that's important? You know, what not to do is really just as important as what to do, right? Because you do the wrong thing and it could end all the good things that you've already done. So we'll talk a little bit about that. And then we're going to talk about focus. What this event won't cover. We don't have the time today to go in depth on each of these topics. This is intended to be a high level conversation to invoke some thought processes and some discussions, some things to consider. And there just isn't enough time to get into the details. Maybe we do another class in the future that we break it down and go through those details, maybe do a full day workshop or something on this, but there's a lot of things that we can cover. We just can't cover it all in depth today. When you see everything that I'm addressing, you'll understand why. So I want to do a quick poll. Drop this in the chat, please. Who's brand new and starting your real estate adventure in 2020? Just drop it in the chat. Just say I am or me or something. Just trying to get a feel for who's on the call and what your background and experience is. Also, who has not done a deal? I want to see a show of hands on who's not done a deal. For those of you that have done 1 to 5 deals, I want to know who you are. I may call on you for a couple conversations, as well as if anyone's done more than 10. Just again, trying to get a feel for who's in the audience here today. Anyone been in the business more than 5 years? I want to just, again, find out who you are. Anyone who needs funding for your deals? Everybody's hand should go up on that, right? Don't we all need more money unless you're already independently wealthy? But just want to see what your answer is. If you say no, then I know who to come to for my next funding, right? You must have a lot of money. Okay, slide, there you go. How many of you are still working a job? Just curious, you know, who you are. And also, is anybody out there? Why is my clicker not clicking? Just curious if anybody's actually been laid off due to COVID that's on the call today, or laid off for any other reason right now, so you're unemployed. So just drop that in the chat. So I'm going to go through this part really quick. Most of you know me, but my name's Tim Cook, and I joined the Marine Corps right out of high school. Met my wife on a blind date, married 5 months later. We just had our 45th anniversary. Retired from Marine Corps, worked at Lockheed. And while I was at Lockheed, this is part of the thing that I want to talk about today. While I was at Lockheed, I started studying the real estate investing business, and I've spent well over $100,000 in education over the years since that time. So I believe in being a student of the business, and you're going to hear me say that later. I think that you need to be a student of the business and be learning as much as you possibly can if you want to be successful. And part of that is how big do you want to be? Do you want to be part-time? Do you want to be full-time? Do you want to be passive? You know, so some of that education levels will depend on what it is you're trying to do. So I planned my exit strategy, and I would encourage you to think about this. I planned my exit strategy. I was studying the business. I'd been in the business 5 years at the time when I gave my 12-month notice to Lockheed and to BAE Systems that I was going to resign. Everybody laughed at me and said, well, they're going to escort you out. I didn't care. I was ready at that time. You know, that's why I gave the 12-month notice. I was already ready to go full-time then. And I've been full-time ever since. They let me stay that year, and I've been full-time since July of 2006. My wife kicked me out of the house in 2008 to go find an office. I did that. I was Ron LeGrand's mentor. Many of you know Ron LeGrand. I was his mentor for all his Texas and Canadian students for about 5 years. So that was fun. I learned a lot, but it got to be the point where it was interfering with my business, so I resigned from doing that. And I love Ron to death and still to this day follow and learn from him. And actually we give away some of his books and CDs to our new members. So I've taught numerous Subject 2 classes over the years. Some of you were at my class recently, I did, but this is one of my favorite topics, and I do it frequently because it's such a great strategy. And I started the West DFW REI group 10 years ago. We just had our 10th anniversary. So this group has been around a long time, and we love helping a lot of new investors get started in this business. So moving on, what's your why? Why do you want to get involved in real estate investing? So I'm gonna throw out a lot of things today that you need to think about. Hopefully you'll take notes, but you will have this presentation, so it's no big deal if you miss something. But I want you to think about why real estate investing. You know, a lot of people think that it's easy money, it's an easy business, it's a get-rich-quick thing. It can be, it's not typically, but there's a lot of work involved in real estate investing. Everywhere you go, people read about, you know, becoming multi-millionaires in the real estate investing business. But that doesn't mean it's easy. So you need to really think about that. A lot of people get into it because they know that they can build wealth. They know that there's financial freedom potentially. But you have to do it right. You have to get structured right, and it does take work. We're going to talk about all these different things today involved in this. And, you know, a lot of people get involved because of the time freedom. It's not just about money, but also about time. You have time with family, travel, spend time with the kids, the grandkids, so on and so forth. A lot of people get involved because they can help other people. And this needs to be one of your top priorities, I think, as to why you need to be willing to help people. And not just you. Yes, you're in the business to make money, but if you're in the business to be, and you're greedy, you probably won't be in the business real long, because it's not that easy of a business. So in my opinion anyhow, you need to have a desire and the heart for helping other people in the business and help sellers and buyers. And a lot of people want to flush their JOB, right? We have anybody on the call today that wants to flush their JOB? Anybody at all? Where'd my chat go? So that was one of my goals. I mean, I spent 24 years in the Marine Corps working for many, many, many bosses all at the same time. And then when I went to work at BAE Systems in Lockheed, I had a lot of bosses. And I knew that I didn't want to spend the rest of my life inside that little 8-foot square cubicle and answering to multiple people. I only wanted to answer to two, me and my wife. So I wanted to flush my job, and that's exactly what I was doing, okay? So that was my real main reason, all these things, but the end goal was I wanted to flush that job. So my clicker is working when it wants to work. Okay, so business model considerations. So back at the beginning, one of the first slides with all the different things we're going to cover, we're just going to go through that in order and cover these different things. So there's a lot of different things that I want you to think about in trying to decide what kind of a business model you're going to have as a real estate investment company. You need to think about your education background, your job, as well as real estate investing education. I think all those things will come into play when you think about the type of business model, the type of real estate investing business that you want to have. What's your experience background? You know, have you been a teacher all your life? Have you been a factory worker? Have you been a mechanic? Are you a recluse and don't like to talk to people? I mean, all these different things are going to have an influence on what kind of a business model that you might want to consider having. Job and experience and real estate investing experience. What's your comfort zone? You know, are you somebody that's not comfortable talking to people? You know, you probably don't want to spend a lot of time going out and meeting sellers if that's the case, right? You may want to think more about buying at auction and flipping or something. But you have to think through all these different things when you're trying to decide what kind of a business you want to set up. Do you want a partner or not? This is one that I'm going to suggest you spend a lot of time on and think about, because I've been in the business 20 years and I've never had a formal partner. Yes, we joint venture, but that's not the same as having a formal partner in the business. And I can't tell you how many people I've talked to over the years that have been taken to the cleaners in a partnership. So I'm not telling you that to scare you, but I'm telling you that to think about whether or not you want to do any kind of a partnership. The other thing you want to think about is, if you do partner, you need to do everything formally in writing and get with an attorney to draft up that partnership agreement and stuff, so that you know who's doing what to who and who has what responsibilities and so forth. But think about whether or not you want a partner. If you're a person that has trouble with trusting people, you may not want to be a partner with somebody, okay? So just think that through carefully. What's your personality? You know, are you happy-go-lucky? Do you like talking to people? Are you grumpy and hate the thought of talking to people? You know, it comes into play on what you want to do. What part of the business are you the most interested in? You need to think this one through carefully. I know some people are new in the business and they don't really know where their interests lie, but I think you need to think about it before you commit to any particular thing. You know, most people start off with wholesaling because it's really one of the easiest areas to start off with. I happen to start off with subject twos, buying houses with no money. That's really where I started. And, you know, it's a much more difficult transaction than wholesaling, but the details and stuff, to me, I learned it and I was able to do it, and I still do it today and teach it. But this is something that you should really think about. Some people have never done rehab, so you don't want to get into a fix and flip type business to start off. You want to work into that one later on. We're going to talk about how to go about going through those different phases of the business later on. How large do you want to be? Do you want to be a passive investor, buy a buy and hold type property once a year, twice a year, you know, or do you want to be doing, you know, 5 wholesale deals a month and 2 fix and flips and have a rental portfolio? You need to put some thought into how large you want to be, because how much education you get, your entity structuring may be different. All of these things matter on what you want to do and how big you plan to be. Do you want to do it part-time? Do you want to do it full-time? Okay, so you need to think about all those things. Education. Earlier I mentioned being a student of the business. And if you want to be serious about this business, you know, don't take it lightly. Don't don't be one of these people that think you can go read a free ebook and expect to go out and make $10 million from reading that one free ebook, because it's probably not going to happen. There's a lot of people that do start off with the free stuff like that, but I would encourage you to, yes, learn from that, but don't come into the business thinking that's all you got to do. Okay? Free versus paid. There's a ton of free info on the internet today. And then there's a ton of paid stuff. One of the things you have to do is do your due diligence on all this stuff and make sure that it's viable, make sure it's legal strategies, make sure it's someone that's well respected in the industry before you start paying for it, as well as the free stuff. You don't want to be doing strategies that are not legal in the state of Texas. You need to consider all those types of things. Free isn't always enough. Yes, there's a lot of free content out there, but free isn't always enough. You probably need to think about investing in yourself and be willing to pay for certain information to get the right level of education that you need for what you hope to accomplish in this business. Would you rather pay to learn from those that have made the mistakes and put together processes to do it right? Or would you rather pay for your mistakes that you made because you didn't invest in yourself? Meaning, you're going to pay one way or the other, but you're going to pay. So you can either pay to learn it the right way or pay the legal fees to clean up the mess that you made by not learning it and doing something incorrectly. So either way, you're going to pay. So my suggestion is, and my avenue that I took was I knew people had already learned all this stuff. I wanted to learn what they knew, learn what they learned, and do it the right way from day one. And consequently, I spent a lot of money over the years because I knew I was going to be doing this full time and 20 years later. So something for you to consider is the education. Okay. Another thing that I highly recommend you do is attend local REI group trainings such as this one today with the West DFW REI group. I can't say enough about these group meetings, whether it's another group or ours. Naturally, I prefer ours, but we try to give you all of the knowledge and education that is going to help you be successful in this business. And consider it your watering hole. You go get plugged into your watering hole and suck up all the knowledge and network with investors and learn who all the sponsors are and get them on your power team and stuff. That's the real value of coming to these group trainings. As some of you've already made some connections today on the call. So try to make your schedule available so that you can come to these events when we have them, especially nowadays where right now we're doing things virtually. Makes it very easy to attend these meetings. It's a great source of education, building your power team and building your buyers list. I don't talk about it much in this presentation today, but building your buyers list is going to be crucial to you being successful in your first year in this business. You have to be able to, if you plan to sell anyhow, you have to have buyers to be able to sell to. So building that buyers list is a great thing, great benefit to have by attending the group meetings. Find a mentor you're comfortable with. Some people can pick up the books and CDs and videos and stuff and read it once, listen to it once, and you got it down pat, and you can go do the deals. But one of the biggest reasons I see people getting out of the business is they're scared, the fear factor. They're afraid they're going to do something wrong. And that's exactly what a mentor is for, or a joint venture partner maybe. But find a mentor that you're comfortable with, whether that's me or somebody else, but make sure that you are a good fit for one another. You have personalities that match. They have the skill set that you need. If you're trying to do subject to deals, don't go to a mentor that specializes in wholesale, because he is not going to be able to give you the details and mentoring that you need as a subject to kind of guy. So think about that. Make sure they have the skill set that you need. Preferably in your market. You know, there's a lot of people that get hooked up with mentors outside of their local market, and that's not always the best thing to do. I'm not saying that it's wrong, but it's not always the best thing to do because they're not familiar with your market. Be cautious of the out-of-state so-called gurus. There's a lot of folks that sit behind a desk and don't do deals that claim to be a mentor, and they may not be in the trenches and be up to date on what's going on in the trenches. So be cautious of that. They're also not going to be familiar with the state laws, possibly. So just as a side note, I have thousands of dollars worth of real estate investment education courses that are available for sale. If anyone is interested, you can either email or call the office, and I'll be happy to share the list with you. But these are courses that I bought over the years that I just don't need anymore. And they're very good to help you get started in your real estate ventures and save a lot of money doing it. Okay, so any questions on anything we've covered so far? If you have anything, just unmute yourself and I'll try and answer that question. Okay. Buying strategies. So you need to put a lot of thought into this. What's your buying strategy? And things for you to consider when you think about buying strategies. Are you interested in wholesale or assignments? This is, again, as I mentioned earlier, this is where a lot of people start because it's usually the easiest strategy to pick up on, and it takes little to no money if you do it right. And it's quick money for most people. Doesn't mean it's easy. And in today's market, you know, it's pretty tough finding some of the deals and stuff. I will also tell you that from what I've been seeing, I made comment earlier about being greedy. I see an awful lot of new wholesalers getting very greedy, looking for $20,000, $30,000 assignment fees. And when you do that, that makes it very difficult to do those deals. And they're also going to be few and far between when you start looking for those kind of assignment fees. And that's just, in my opinion, it's great, but it's being very greedy, and you risk not getting the deal done when you're looking for that kind of money. So keep that in mind. There is a lot of money to be made in wholesaling if you learn how to do it correctly. Subject to, you know, this is where I started. And for those of you that may not know what this strategy is, it's buying houses subject to the underlying mortgage on the house remaining in place. So in other words, you buy a $150,000 house, it has a mortgage maybe of say 120 on it, and you take ownership of the home, and the mortgage for that 120 stays in the seller's name. So there's a lot of details behind it. It's a lot of money to be made there. We're about to go into a huge opportunity, probably the first of the year, with foreclosures coming, as you've probably been seeing on the news. And this strategy is a great strategy. This strategy is not for everybody. There's a lot of details behind this type of strategy, a lot of money to be made, but there's a lot of work involved in doing this. If you're not the type of person that handles details well and tracking and systems, you know, subject to strategies may not be the best one for you. Maybe you should think about partnering with somebody on those kind of deals or something. But those kind of deals take a lot of work. much more difficult than a wholesale assignment type deal. Owner financing, another great strategy. You can buy with little money or no money or some money with owner finance and not have to worry about, many times the seller will be the bank, so you pay them payments, or you may borrow from private money lenders, hard money lenders, 401ks, self-directed IRAs. All those different sources can be used in conjunction with an owner finance note with the seller. There are sellers out there that don't need the money, so they're happy to do owner finance. Then there's others that want all cash. So all these types of strategies you need to think about. Tax sales is another one. Tax sales are a great strategy, but you got to have the money and you got to understand the laws on when you can start rehabbing and selling that house, because you have to understand if it's homesteaded or non-homesteaded and the right of redemption rules and so forth. But it's a very good return on your investment. Every state in the country is different, and you have to understand all those different laws. By the way, that's one thing I did not put in this presentation today, is I'm going to suggest you start out local in your own backyard before you start expanding, across the state and into other states, because all the laws and rules and stuff are different when you start going across state lines. So I would highly recommend you master your own neighborhood first at any of these things we're talking about before you go into other markets. And you'll hear people talk about how good it is to be in other markets, but I'm just saying there's a lot of work involved when you start venturing out into other markets. Your power team, the laws, do you have people you can trust, so on and so forth. Okay. Budget planning. Any questions on the last topic?
Yeah, before you get into it, Tim, just to touch a little bit on the subject too, I've been, kind of learning about that, and it seems like it would be a pretty good strategy, but like you said, it was a lot of details, and I think I did hear you say, didn't you just have a webinar on subject two?
I did. I did a webinar, and then I did an all-day workshop on 8 August. And that course is available for purchase on the products page of the group website.
Okay.
If you go back to the products page,
mm-hmm.
You'll see that course in there. The audio, the video, and all the content is in that class, in that package.
Okay, because I know right now I'm focused more on doing a wholesaling, but I'm open to anything. I'm trying to at least figure out where I feel the most comfortable at.
Yep.
So I'm open to all of them. I don't want to take in too much at once, so I just kind of went straight with wholesaling. But I have been more interested in subject two.
Okay.
But I know there's so many other ways to go about. So I guess it's just finding out where I'm more comfortable at.
Exactly, and that's part of the reason I'm trying to get you through that thought process today on what it is you do want to do and where to start. Go look at that products page and look at that course material that you get, and you'll see there's a lot of stuff in there. It was an all-day event. We had a great turnout. I think we had 41 people at that event, and I had like 14 or 15 video testimonials about how good the class was. So it turned out great. So go check it out, 8 August.
Okay.
Okay, moving on here. Budget planning. So a lot of people don't think about this, but you need to identify what your budget needs are. There's a lot involved in, if you're going to be serious about this, what you got to have the money to be able to cover these types of things. You're going to have money for budget for marketing materials, motivated sellers list that Rodney mentioned. You can get that through Real Estate IQ. By the way, anytime you see this promo code in here. Be sure you use that because it's going to save you 40% off on your subscriptions for the rest of your life. As long as you're a member, you save 40% through this discount code. So West DFW REI is the code with any of these Real Estate IQ tools. These are fantastic tools for you, okay? And Rodney mentioned you get 10 or 11 different types of lists. And, you know, these are fresh leads from the local public records and stuff. So very good list to be using. Direct mail, you got to have a budget for direct mail. And depending on what tool, what kind of direct mail you're sending, you know, there's a difference in cost. The cheapest that I know of today is 35 cents for a postcard. And you can probably goes up to $1.50 for a letter or so. So it just depends on who you're using and what you're sending on what the cost is going to be and how frequently and how many postcards and letters you're going to send. So the budget, you have to identify what you can afford and what you would like to send out and make sure that you keep that budget set aside. And one of the things I think I'm gonna have to add to this presentation I just thought about is, you know, you need to make sure that from each deal that you do, that you set aside a certain dollar figure or percentage of that deal to go back into your budget. Otherwise, you know, you're not gonna have any money there. So you have to set that money aside and be diligent about it so that you don't run out of money to continue with your marketing. You know, are you going to do door hangers? There's a cost associated with door hangers. How much are they a piece? How many are you going to do? How frequently? All those things come into play. Business cards, you know, you need to spend the money. I can't tell you how many new investors I've met that don't have a business card. And to me, it's just one of those necessary things. If you're going to meet with people, you need to give them a business card. And, you know, I use them like breadcrumbs. Even today, 20 years into the business, when I go places, I drop business cards. Doctor's offices, store, do this one. Go to the gas pump. When you get gas, slide a business card in the credit card slot. What's your goal with a business card is to get somebody to pick it up, right? Put that business card in the credit card slot. Somebody's got to touch that card, okay? So I do that today, 20 years into the business. And, you know, again, it's an expense that you need to be sure and include in your budget. Vehicle decals and wraps. Do you need to do this today, day one? If money is tight, no. But when you get cash flow coming in, you might want to think about doing something, whether it's a magnet or a wrap or a small decal. For those of you who've seen my truck, you know, my whole truck's been wrapped. And I just posted this on YouTube. I just hit 225,000 miles on my F-150 King Ranch, and it's all wrapped with I Buy North Texas Homes and a bunch of other stuff on it. So it's been well worth it for me to have that. And I've had 2 trucks like that since 2003. So it's well worth it to advertise and tell people who you are and what you do. But just think about the budget for that. Maybe you can't do it today, but maybe next month or 6 months from now, maybe you can, and you fit it into the budget for it. So you go get an estimate, find out how much it's going to be, put it on your calendar, and track to it. So maybe you can do it in 6 months or a year from now. Okay. Social media marketing. Of course, there's a lot of free social media marketing that you can do, but there's also a lot of paid stuff you can do as well. So, and a lot of these things, by the way, that we're talking about today, sometimes some of the stuff doesn't have any cost to it, but other things do. And, you know, you need to account for that. You need to have it identified. And again, maybe you can't pay for social media marketing today, but maybe you want to do it in 6 months from now or after you do your next deal. Those are things that you need to think about. We buy houses, t-shirts, and hats. You see, we have the group shirts. I don't know if you can see this. You know, I wear these types of shirts everywhere I go. I want to tell people what I do. I recommend you do the same thing. Again, if you can't do it today, understand, but you know, next month, next deal, that's when you go and add it into the budget and go purchase those. I know people that would not put a decal or magnet on their truck or wear a shirt like this because they didn't want to tell people what they did if they knew them. And my response has always been, well, they may be in trouble and need your services, but if they don't know what you do, they're not going to come to you, and they may lose the house, or you may have been able to help and make some money too. The logic just didn't make any sense. By the way, that person that I always had that conversation with is no longer in the business. So I just believe that you need to tell people what you do. And in this particular case, talking about budget planning, you need to account for the money so that at some point you can implement these things. Better Business Bureau membership. It's an annual subscription. Do you need it today? No, but I would highly recommend that this one is planned for so that you can do this as soon as you can afford it. This is a lot of people come to the Better Business Bureau to do research. I've done deals because people researched me first on the Better Business Bureau and then called me. So to me, this is a biggie. And again, maybe you can't do it today, but you know, 60 days, 90 days, next deal, whatever, make sure you get it in there when you can. Any questions on budget? Okay. Tools. Comps tools. Again, there's your 40% discount code, but remember, as a paid member of the group, you get 6 months free. So when you sign up, if you're not a member, you'll get a link in your welcome email to subscribe. Again, if you did not already subscribe and you're a member, be sure you reach out to Pamela and we'll get you that link. But if you are not a member and you still want the comps tool, there's a link for you right there, and that code will save you 40%. Websites. We could talk about websites a long time. Do you need websites today? No. You can get along without it for a short time, but it is a necessary tool in a real estate investor's business because people expect to see an online presence, not to mention the fact that it can help market and promote your business. And I don't remember what the percentage is, but a very large percentage of home sellers start by searching the web for a company that they feel comfortable with and it can help them. So you need to have a web presence, okay? Again, as a member of the group, you get a free site as part of your membership. If you decide you want to check out the premium systems, then here's a link right here, premium upgrade here. And then the other one that I use is the Investor Carrot site. So there's a link there for you to go check them out too in a webinar there. But I use several different ones. Yes, I've been in the business 20 years, so I have reasons for doing several different things. But at some point, you need a system. If you can't afford it today, get it in the budget. You can get a pretty reasonably priced. Again, as part of the membership, you get it included. So that's a very good starting place. But as you grow and as you expand your business, then you'll want to add additional systems, additional websites. And these are all good choices for you right here. You know, these are all systems and services that we use in our business today, and I encourage you to use as well. CRM systems, customer relations management systems. There's a ton of them out there. The one that we prefer is RealFlow. That link will take you off to a special offer we have, but I've been on that system for 10 years. You'll hear people talk about Podio and I don't even remember, Freedom Soft and some others. I've practically tried all of them, but I've stuck with RealFlow for 10 years. So that should tell you something. Do you need these tools today? No. But as you start growing your business, then you may want to think about systemizing it and adding these types of tools. You do not need to spend the money today, but unless you have the money and you really are ramping things up and growing your business. But if you're brand new and haven't done a deal, you don't necessarily need that tool today. There's a lot of benefit to having it, but it's not required for you to start off when you may need to spend the money on something else. Okay? Questions on tools at all? Anything at all? There's a lot more tools that we could talk about, but anything else that you can think about? Okay.
Can I say something, Tim?
Sure.
As far as tools go, y'all also know that I'm here in the office Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 1:30. So if there's something you're like, hey, Tim didn't cover that, what would he use? Give me a call. And I don't mind to help you or to find out what he suggests.
Thank you, Pam.
Tim, is RealFlow kind of like PropStream on any one of those programs?
Similar.
Okay.
It's been a long time since I looked at PropStream thorough.
Mm-hmm.
I know that I remember it was a powerful system, but I don't remember much about it. And like I said, I've just stuck with RealFlow for 10.5 years or so.
Okay, because I wanted to use RealFlow, especially since being a member, I have access to it. So I want to learn the software and get into using it.
Yep. So I just made a special RealFlow presentation last week. It's on the calendar.
Mm-hmm.
You might want to go back and watch that video on the calendar event. I don't remember what day it was, but it was last week. So go back and look at that and watch that video thorough. See what you think.
Okay. Yeah, I missed it. I was supposed to go to that meeting and I had the wrong day set in my phone.
Yep, that's okay. It's there for you to watch. Okay, marketing plan. Pick your marketing area, what we call the farm area. I mentioned it earlier. There's a lot of people jump into this business and start doing multiple states, and you'll hear some gurus promoting, somebody's doing deals in 5 different states and stuff like that. I'm here to tell you that's a hard road to hold. Not to mention the money involved in getting set up in those different states, trying to learn all the laws, the expenses, and building a power team in all those states, people you can trust and so forth. I'm going to recommend, if you're brand new, pick your farm area, make that farm area, a safe area, especially for the ladies. Don't go marketing and go into deals in the hood where a lot of gang violence and drugs and stuff. Keep yourself safe, okay? Stay close to home or close to work so that it's easy for you to go there frequently, to drive the neighborhoods, study the neighborhood, get to know it, master it, so you know the neighborhood inside and out. You can look at a house, how big it is, what the cost per square foot is, what you can rehab it for, what it'd sell for. So, just make it easy to start with. Easy access, again, just maybe it's en route to work from home. Just make sure that you can get there easily. Study it inside and out, get to know it like the back of your hand. Decide what your budget's going to handle for the number of mail pieces as part of that marketing plan. This marketing is something that's got to be ongoing, folks. Don't expect to do one mailing and do a bunch of deals out of it. Don't expect to do one mailing and a bunch of people call you later, because that's not usually how it works. People need to get used to seeing your message, your name, and become familiar with you so that they remember you. And then when the time comes, they call you. So when you do mailings, you need to do reoccurring mailings. Same thing with website autoresponders. Whatever system you use, that's one of the reasons why we use RealFlow, is that the websites that we have in our system all come with an 8 to 10 series autoresponder email that goes out automatically to those clients, those sellers, when they join the system. Whether they sign up or you sign them up, the system sends those emails on a routine basis, so you're touching them multiple times. And the goal there is to remind them of who you are, what you do, and how you can help them. So, but the same thing goes with mail pieces, direct mail. You got to figure out how many pieces you can afford, and are you doing it on a monthly basis? Are you doing it every 2 weeks? What can you afford to do, and how many pieces to that list? Okay. Decide what your target is. What I mean by that is, I do not recommend what I call shotgun marketing. Don't start marketing to a zip code, for example. A zip code would be a shotgun blast. It's to everybody, and you don't know. I mean, within that zip code, there's a lot of people that just bought a house today or yesterday or last month, this year. Well, you're not going to be talking to them, right? So you want to pick the target, the type of seller that's most likely interested in your message. So pre-foreclosures, for example, you want to talk to those kind of people in your farm area because they are behind on payments. Pre-foreclosure, for new folks, for anyone that doesn't know, pre-foreclosure is somebody that missed at least one payment. They are now in default. And those lists can be available. They are available in the motivated sellers list that I mentioned to you with Real Estate IQ earlier. And they provide current list. Right now, those are very short. That's a very short list because of the moratorium on pre-foreclosures being put on hold and stuff until the end of December. It's anticipated the first of the year, though, the floodgates are going to open. So pre-foreclosures will be a good candidate to be marketing to. Ugly vacant houses, that's a great target. And you can get lists that will identify all those ugly vacant houses. By the way, they don't have to be ugly. They can just be vacant and not listed with a realtor. You can still find those. You can drive neighborhoods and look for those, but you can buy lists too that have those type of properties. Senior citizens, you can get lists of people by the age, how many years they've owned the house, things like that, and they're a great customer to market to. I find that I'd much rather talk to senior citizens than somebody that's 25 that doesn't know what they want. Senior citizens are planning many times, or they may have lost a loved one, or their health may be going downhill and they can't climb the stairs anymore. Senior citizens are a great topic or great target to go after within your farm area. Divorce is another great topic. Again, that's one of the lists with Real Estate IQ. You can market to those divorcees, and many of those, they just want to be done with it. They can't stand the sight of one another. They just need the house sold quickly. Sometimes it's required to be sold as part of the divorce. That may be a huge opportunity for you. Again, you're going after a very specific target type of seller. Does that make sense to everybody? You're not wasting money on direct mail going after people that don't have an interest in selling. You know, they might have a 2-year-old house that, you know, they just bought and they have no interest or need to sell. So it's best to spend the money on the things, on the people that are likely to need to sell quickly. Okay. Funding your deals. Your business model, your buying strategy, and the deal itself will all influence the funding needs for your deal. The business model, your business model, the buying strategies, and the deal itself all influence your funding needs, okay? Subject to is a good example, right? So if you're doing sub-2 deals and you come across a house that has a mortgage on it and they need to sell, many times you won't need a whole lot of money to get into that house. So that deal itself is going to influence what your funding needs are. Now, you could, if you had cash, you could use cash for any kind of down payment that you want or that the seller needs to get moved. Sometimes sellers don't require anything. I suspect what we're going to see a lot of when these foreclosures start hitting the market is that you're going to see some houses that's going to have quite a bit of equity in them, because of the fact that we've had such a high appreciation rate for the last 10 years or so. You're going to see homes with a chunk of equity in them. That doesn't mean you have to pay them all that equity up front. So the deal is going to influence what you need, and your strategies are going to influence what you need in that subject to type scenario. Okay. No money down. Sometimes you don't need money. So you're going to have very little funding requirements there. Believe it or not, people will sell a house with no money down. I've done it. So it's all on how you structure the terms and how you pre-screen them and understand what their problem and issue is and what they're trying to solve. That's how I was able to do that. They wanted a certain amount of money, payments. They wanted a certain sales price. They got what they wanted, but I had to have no money down in order to make the deal work. And they did it. So it's just a matter of understanding the deal, understanding the seller needs, which I probably need to add seller needs in here. But those can all influence what kind of funds you need for that deal. Private money is another great way to buy houses. You have family, friends, other investor partners that may provide private money for you. Maybe a joint venture partner could provide money for you. So you may be able to use private money, you may not. But it's another avenue for you. Oh, by the way, Alan Cowgill's private money, raising private money seminar is coming up on 10 October. That is our October meeting. It will not be the first Saturday of the month. It will be the second Saturday of the month. So be sure you get registered and put it on your calendar for that day. It's the second Saturday of October. You should have already started seeing the email notifications about that. Hard money. Ryan's on the call today with Longhorn Investments, and they are an excellent hard money lender, but they do a lot of stuff for you. And Ryan will be happy to sit down and talk to you about how they can make a deal work for you using their funding with hard money. There's a lot of deals that he can help you get into, even buy and hold deals that you can use his strategies with to help you do deals. You also can use cash or self-directed IRAs and 401ks to be able to buy houses or lend money You know, you'll find that if you partner up with a lot of folks out there, they may lend you money out of their self-directed IRA. And that's a great deal for, I see I got a misspelled word there. Lending out of an IRA is a great way for the investor to make tax-free income, but also it's a great way for you to borrow money from investors that have money. It doesn't have to be an investor. You can borrow it from private individuals, and you can show them how to profit using self-directed IRAs. So it's a very profitable business, and it's a very common way of funding real estate deals. Okay, I've done quite a few deals in my self-directed IRA. And we just had that presentation with Equity Trust a couple of months ago. I don't remember the date. I think it was in July. Look back on the calendar. There was a presentation there, and the video is in the calendar. So owner financing, you know, you can do a lot of deals with owner financing. I mentioned it briefly earlier. There's a lot of sellers out there that don't need the money today, so they're happy to sell with owner financing if you get a set of terms that work for you and for them. You can actually, one of the things I love about the owner financing strategies is that you can actually pay them more than the house is worth and still make a lot of money on it, as long as you get the terms that you need in order to make money for you. So you can, again, pay them more than what the house is worth today, as long as you get the terms that allow you to make the money you need to make. And it's a powerful strategy when you understand how to structure it. But it's a great way to buy houses where, you know, if you know that somebody owns a couple of properties, for example, if you find a big landlord that is ready to retire, tired landlord, tired of dealing with tenants and toilets and stuff, and he owns multiple properties, he might be happy to take an owner finance deal, and instead of receiving rental income, he receives owner finance income. And it's a great strategy for buying houses. And it's used very commonly to fund your deals. Joint venture partners is another way to fund your deals. I mentioned it earlier too, that, you know, coming to these type of training events, you know, the group events, your watering hole, as I call it, meeting other investors, talking about what you do, what you're looking for. You know, you may find another joint venture partner to partner with to fund the deals for you. If you need a joint venture partner, come see me. There's a link in here for you too to submit joint venture properties to me to review. But depending on the deal, I may joint venture with you or make a recommendation for you. But joint venture partnering is pretty common to partner up on a particular deal. That's not the same as getting a business partner to run your real estate investing business. Joint venture is a particular deal partnership. Okay, any questions on funding at all? Anyone at all? I figured you'd have some questions here for me. Oh, I forgot conventional. So conventional funding is another way to do it. Ruth Ann, as you heard, Ruth Ann with Service First Mortgage, she has some great investment programs for funding your deals. And the particular case, I don't know if Ruth Ann's still on the call, but we've been talking about her coming in and teaching this particular strategy. But this one customer of hers was buying houses at the courthouse steps using their 401k money. And then he'd go rehab it, and he'd come back to her and refinance it and get 75% or so back out of that he took out of his 401k and put back in his 401 again. So he had very little money into that property in the end. He's been able to rinse and repeat and do that over and over again several times. So it's a pretty interesting strategy, and it's one that may fit the particular deal that you're working on. I know
Hey, it's Lisa McCormick. I don't really have a question, but I had a statement on the self-directed IRA. I loaned a lot out of mine, but I use Quest instead, and they do give free classes on how to loan out money from your IRA, so you can learn how to approach somebody that might have a Quest or another IRA, but it'll also teach you how to loan out of your own. And they have weekly classes or monthly classes sometimes. And they are a Texas company.
Yes, thank you for that, Lisa. They've been around for a long time. Equity Trust does a similar thing as well. But it is important, you know, going back to the education paragraph earlier, it is important to get that education on how to do that correctly and safely. The IRA rules, self-directed IRA rules, are very strict on what you can do and not do so that you don't get busted by the IRS. Okay? And I'll just say one thing that's just as an example. I've done a lot of deals in my IRA over the years, and I can't go in and do work on the house myself and pay myself for it. You know, that's a big no-no. You have to pay a contractor to come in and do that if it's in a self-directed IRA. So there's a lot of ins and outs. You know, there's certain family members that you can't do deals with in an IRA. So you have to be able to learn all those things. But once you do, what a powerful strategy. You know, you have limitations on how much money you can contribute every year to your IRA, but you don't have a limit on how much you can make. So, and anything you earn from selling a property or rental income and stuff, all that money has to go back into that self-directed IRA. So very, very powerful strategies, but it has to be done correctly. Okay. Any questions about funding deals? Here we go. Daily routine and tasks. What are you going to be doing every day? Anybody want to give me an answer? What should you be doing on a daily basis to ensure you're successful your first 12 months as a real estate investor?
Marketing and looking for properties.
Yep, good one. Thank you, Michelle. Anybody else? Okay. Your number one priority task is lead generation and marketing. Okay, which is what you said, right? So if you are not doing this, you're missing the boat. This is crucial to any real estate investing business. And actually, a lot of people don't realize that as a real estate investor, what you really should be saying is that you are a marketer. You have to learn to master marketing and lead generation, or you're not going to have a real estate investing business. I hope that makes sense. If you can't generate the leads, regardless of the method of doing it, if you can't generate the leads, you don't have a business. So this has got to be your number one priority every day to ensure that you're going to be successful. It's easy to fall off that bandwagon and not do it, by the way. So some of those ways of doing that is driving for dollars. In other words, driving neighborhoods. Everywhere you go, you should be looking for houses. Everywhere. You know, going to Walmart, going to church, going to school, going to work, go out and purposely drive neighborhoods looking for those golden nuggets, those vacant houses, FSBOs, rentals, calling FSBOs, whether it's, you know, from the signs you found during the drive-bys or getting on the web and going to all the different FSBO sites. There's a million of them out there. Know that many of them are going to be outdated. Know that a lot of FSBOs won't call you back because the home is sold already. But just know that they're there, and it's a necessary part of the business to make those calls. Calling for rent by owners, not just FSBOs, but the rentals. Many times the landlords are only landlords because they couldn't sell. Know that with the COVID situation, you're going to have to be very careful on what you're doing, and that's another whole topic. But just remember that, you know, there's a lot of people being evicted, but there's a lot that are being protected by the government's moratorium right now. But if you're going to think about rentals, you need to think through that carefully, the buy and hold strategy, given the market conditions right now. So, but again, these are all ways of generating leads for potential, you know, deals for you. Social media marketing is another way of generating the leads. You know, learn how to post. There's courses out there on how to create posts for generating seller leads. Posting classified ads on free sites. There's a ton of free sites out there that you can post ads on. Many of those sites won't generate much for you, but you're looking for that couple that do, right? But it's free. If money is tight initially, then you need to use the free resources that you can, and this is one way to do it, is post on the free classified ad sites. Pre-screening sellers is another daily task, right? So when you get those leads in, you need to be pre-screening those sellers. There's whole classes on how to go about pre-screening and what to say and how to say it, and how to ask the question 3 different ways to get the answer that you're looking for. There's just a lot of different strategies on pre-screening those sellers, but it's a daily task that you need to be doing, or, you know, or as frequently as you have the leads to call. Analyzing the leads. This is really important, especially when you first get started, is you need to get trained on how to do that analysis, and you need to be analyzing them in detail, and do it as frequently as you can, and not try to pawn that task off onto an assistant or something. You need to do the analysis yourself and maybe bounce it off a partner or something, but do that analysis so that you know how to do it efficiently. When you start generating a lot of leads, analyzing the deals can take a little time, and you want to make sure that you have the right tools to do the analysis. That's why we were recommending the tools earlier that we were, to help you in that process of analyzing the leads. Visiting sellers. Now, I know many of you are a little nervous about doing this, and you know, rightfully so, but guess how you get over that? You get out there and visit them, okay? Just get out there and do it, and remember that. And I tell people this both in regarding the pre-screening of sellers and when you go visit the sellers, remember that you have something they need. They need your solutions and your help to sell their house and get this problem property or this problem situation behind them, okay? So remember that you got to come from a position of, I'm here to help you. I can give you a solution, but I need some answers. I need, you know, be able to pre-screen them and ask them the hard questions about, you know, are they behind? How much do they owe? You know, is your husband in agreement with you? So on and so forth. You know, you got to understand the whole scenario. You can't make decisions. You can't be that transaction engineer that you need to be if you don't have all the information. So visiting that seller though, don't put it off. Remember, there's probably somebody else also trying to knock on their door too. So try to be the first one there. That's why all this marketing stuff is so important. You have to get, if you're buying lists, using the list from Real Estate IQ, you need to get it in the mail or the email set up or the phone calls made or all of the above, and be the first one knocking at the door with your message about how you can help them in their situation. So don't delay making that call and setting up that appointment with the seller. And then making offers, and making more offers. You have to create and make the offer and see what sticks. You have to get those done as quickly as possible. And hopefully you're doing it on a daily basis if you have the leads for that. Are you going to start off with generating new leads every single day? Probably not. It takes time to get the marketing machine in place. And, I can tell you firsthand that, I stopped my marketing for a while and relied on websites. And now that's kind of dried up. So we're starting our marketing machine all over again. And it takes time to get that machine working and generating enough leads so that you're able to do these things on a daily basis. So don't delay on it. And the other thing is, make an offer on every house that you go see. Even though the seller says one thing, let's say they tell you, no, they want all cash for their house, but it's a sub-2 deal and there's not enough equity in it. Well, you can make them an all cash offer and show them how much money they're going to have to bring to the table in order to make that deal work as a cash deal. But you can also make them a subject-to offer. So make them an offer on every deal that you see and see what bites, see what sticks. You'll be amazed at how many people will tell you one thing, but then will accept something else. And it needs to be in writing so they can see it and think about it and understand it and then make a decision. So be sure you put it in writing on any offers that you make. But again, make the offers and keep making them, and you'll get better and better as each one goes by. Any questions on these tasks? Is there anything anybody can think of that I didn't put in here for task on a routine basis? Any of the investors that's been in the business a while?
I would say networking.
Networking, sure. That's probably a very helpful one to do. I'm not sure that it's absolutely necessary on a daily basis, but if you're out networking every day, you might meet another cash buyer to add to your buyers list. You might meet a seller if you go to, by the way, when I'm glad you brought that up, Michelle. When we say networking, it doesn't necessarily have to be a real estate investor networking group. It could be a local B&I meeting or some other, we used to have a Parker County Connections meeting where there's a bunch of local business owners and stuff. You could be going to those kind of networking meetings too, to meet other people that may be able to refer somebody. Chamber of Commerce meetings are a good networking meeting. You can meet a lot of different people. It may be a seller, it may be a contractor that you could use, maybe another buyer, maybe an agent. There's a lot of other people that you might meet at networking events. So anything else that maybe we want to add? Okay. Task management. So this is kind of a pet peeve of mine, trying to track what we're doing. And it's a lot simpler when you're just starting out, right? But if you have appointments, you don't want to miss them, right? If you set an appointment with a seller, the last thing you want to do is forget about it. So I highly recommend that you implement some sort of system to track any kind of task that you have or appointments. And I use that task and appointments kind of loosely together, but you know, Asana is one that I use, that we use in our business for tracking big picture tasks. So I have, they call them projects in Asana, and we can track everything that we're doing at a high level. And so each property is a task. We have a task for the group. So any work that we're doing here on the group is in Asana. You know, we have tasks for our morning meeting. So we can put in anything that we need to discuss in the morning meeting. You can assign names to it, who's managing that particular task, and so forth. Asana is a free service. I'd highly recommend everybody go check it out and see what you think. And then they have a paid upgrade if that is of interest to you, but we don't use the paid version. And the free version gives you a lot of capability, okay? RealFlow has a task management system in it that's by each property and by each contact in there. So if we needed to create a task to follow up with somebody, we could do that. If we needed to create a task for sending the next direct mail piece to somebody, we can do that. And that's how we use it a lot, is for tracking when we're supposed to follow up with a seller or send the next direct mail piece. That's how we use the task manager in RealFlow. A lot of people use a service called Slack. We did years ago, but I just went back to Asana. And then a lot of people use Outlook. And I have Apple Mail on my MacBook, and it has Apple Calendar on it. So I track individual appointments on my mail, and then that syncs with my phone. Outlook will do the same thing. And, I would be lost if we didn't document every little thing that we do or need to do in these tools. And I would encourage you to, if you're not doing that today, I would encourage you to start off doing it, even if it's, one appointment a week. It may create the habit of putting all of that information in your calendar appointment, the name, the address, the phone number of the person that you're trying to go see. And then that way it pops up and reminds you you have that appointment, okay? Same thing with the, use the calendar events on your devices for these meetings. It gives you when you register for these types of classes, it gives you the calendar button there to save it to your device. So you can save it right on your phone or your tablets that you're using, so you don't miss these meetings. And it definitely, you don't want to miss a seller appointment, right? Of any kind, whether it's a phone call or an appointment to go visit with a seller. You'd want to have those on your system so that you don't miss them. Anybody using anything different than these tools?
I have something that I use in addition to the Google Calendar. Google Gmail has a thing called Folio that is particularly for real estate. I use it. They'll let you do 3 free deals under the free account. You can only have 3 deals going on at one time. But what it'll do is, like, if you have Gmail, anything that comes and related to the people you've identified for that deal or the address or whatever, it'll automatically pull into that folder. And then, so it organizes everything out of your Gmail, which is kind of nice to have all that in one place. And then it also, I set the deadlines for, like, when the option period's ending, when the HOA forms are due by, etc. Every deadline I put in there, when inspection is and all that. And then you can also share that with someone else. I typically share it with my sellers or buyers, that timeline on deadlines too. But, you can definitely share it with assistants and different things. So that has helped keep me conscientious of the deadlines, because you can set it up to give you a reminder a day before, or 2 days before, a week before, you know, if there's some other action that you have to do with it.
Yeah, and what's it called again, Lisa?
Folio. It's within the Gmail system and the Google system.
Okay.
But like I said, they'll give you could do 3 transactions at a time. So I've just been doing the free version, you know, as long as I don't have more than 3 transactions going on at once. And then, you know, when one transaction's over, you can archive it all. But it's kind of nice that it is very, I have used it for a few years now. It's very, proficient at truly identifying, you know, those emails associated to that account,
Okay.
you know, of that deal.
I'll have to go check that out. I'm not with it. Thank you for that. Okay, anybody else? Well, lost my mouse.
There's a chat question.
Okay,
Do you see it?
I do. Okay, does RealFlow allow you to create a checklist that automatically apply to new contacts? Unfortunately, they don't. That's something that has been a topic of conversation in my RealFlow mastermind group, but to this day, they have not come up with something that will work. I don't know if they're actually working on it, but right now their big priority is they're coming out, they're redoing all of the websites. They're coming out with WordPress-based websites here in the next couple of weeks. So I'll follow up on that question, though. It's a good question. I'll see what I can find out. Okay, investor tools for success. You know, going back to the beginning, you know, I made comment about, you know, we're trying to make sure you're successful in this business. We see so many people come and go. They get out just as fast as they come into this business. And we don't want that. We want to help you be successful and stay in this business. So we provide you recommendations of tools that we use that we think will help you as well. And hopefully you'll go at least test them and implement them and see if they work for what you're doing. Yes, there's a ton of different tools out there in the world today of all the technology stuff, but you got to find one that works for you, and hopefully these will be good starting points for you. Websites, we've talked about it a little bit already, but you know, the membership has a free website included in your membership, and then there's the premium upgrades. There's the link for it in the Carrot sites. Those systems there, those sites are outstanding. RealFlow has another whole set of sites that I didn't include in here, but they have another whole set of website systems, and they're all changing here shortly. But I use all of those in my business, and they all are different niches in the business: foreclosure, probates, and ugly houses, pretty houses, so forth. So, you know, hopefully these will be good recommendations for you, but go try them out. If you are a member of the group and have not activated your site, you should have received an email from me recently giving you instructions again on how to go do that. I'm always amazed at how many people that are members have not activated their free site. It's simple to do. It doesn't take but 5 to 8 minutes to do it in most cases. It's a little longer if you go by your domain name to assign to it, but it's pretty simple. So please go do that. If you have trouble with it, come back and see me. Let me try and help get you set up on that. Comps, again, you know, if you're using free comps tools, you need to stop. I know several people that insisted on the free versions of these different tools like Zillow and Real Estate or ePromo and a few others out there. don't do that. You have access to it, especially if you're a member. You get it for free for 6 months, or you can buy it at a very cheap rate here. But you need true MLS comps. If you're not a realtor and don't have access to MLS, this is the next best thing to using MLS, and that's the fast CMA tool that you have available here. You need to go through and try these tools and see how they work for you. But they're true MLS comps, okay? So that's the important thing. Don't try and use free tools. You're going to get yourself in trouble. I know people that filed bankruptcy because they were using the wrong comps tools. Deal analysis tools. This is, again, part of the same deal analysis suite that you have available for 6 months. But if you decide to go buy it separately and not be a member, then there's a link for you to go do that with. Same thing with pair analysis. And just as a reminder, if you go back up here to the premium site upgrade, that includes another whole set of tools for analysis as well. So there's a lot of options for you. All these tools are tools that we use in our business. I would encourage you to go try them out for yourself. Direct mail tools. We use RealFlow and we use Click to Mail. If you have not tried either of those, I would encourage you to do that. To my knowledge, they're the 2 cheapest available. There might be somebody out there equal to it, but I don't believe there's anything cheaper than 35 cents a postcard. There might be, and if there is, please put it in the chat so we know who that is and we'll go check them out. But Click to Mail and RealFlow, you can get as cheap as 35 cents a postcard, which is pretty darn cheap. Does anybody know of one that's cheaper? Drop it in the chat, please. So CRM tools, again, this is one that you don't have to have today starting out. But you know, if you're a systems person, you might consider this, or go try some of the others that are out there. But you know, these are the tools that we use every day in our business. There's others that can be found on our resources page. If you come right over here to this here button here at the bottom, and for some reason my mouse is gone again. I have a lot of trouble with my mouse here. There it is. So right here, so that there is a bunch of other resources there, but these are the main tools that I think you would need as a new investor to get started in your business. Building your power team. This is another very, very important part of getting started and being successful in your first 12 months in the business, is having a power team, those people that you would need and can trust to help you when you get a deal or doing estimates or whatever. You need an attorney on your team. You need general contractors. You need an insurance company. You need lenders. You need to be a member of a local REI group such as our group or one of the other many in the DFW area. But you also need a title company. Many of these folks are in our list of sponsors in our group. And you need a mentor if you feel that you have the fear factor of going out there and making a mistake. That's what a mentor does, is help you take away that fear factor. And then you also have all of our group sponsors in here. They should all be a part of your power team. You can click on these links and that'll take you directly to the sponsors page or the link for these companies and learn more there. This is a very important part of the business though. Don't wait till you find the deal. Go start building your power team now. Reach out to these sponsors, meet them, buy them a cup of coffee, buy them lunch or something, and find out what they can do for you and explain to them what you're looking for and so forth, so that you're ready to rock and roll when you get that first deal. Okay, very important. Time is critical, by the way. If you wait until you get the deal, you know, and if you're just then starting to try and find a title company or an attorney or so forth, you know, you may lose that deal if you can't move quick enough on it. So that's why I say go start now. Don't wait until it's when you need them. Okay, building credibility. This is one that I really believe is critical as well for you, is start today. You're brand new in the business. You need to start building credibility, whether that's a written testimonial of you helping somebody, or whether it's a video. Even if you don't have a website yet today, then get the video anyhow, or get the written testimonial, and then you can upload them later. But people want to see online, they want to see who you are, what you do, and what other people say about you. So I would encourage you to start that today. Don't think that it's not important from day one, okay? I mentioned Better Business Bureau earlier. That's a paid subscription. That's an excellent source for building credibility, but it's not required from day one. You can go do Facebook reviews. You can go do Google My Business reviews. Those types of places are free. And I would highly encourage you to go get those things set up so that you can start getting those reviews online. Again, do video is best, but take a written one as well. Some people don't want to be in front of a video camera, okay? So get whatever you can. You always want to ask, and you want to do it in the moment. What do I mean by that? I mean, while they're excited, get them to do the testimonial. The further away from that closing day, the harder it's going to be for you to get them to make the time to do the video. And a good example was, I did a sub-2 deal in February, and they were tickled to death because they had 3 other investors back out on them right up at closing. And I went and did the deal. I went through with it. I did what I said I would do. And they were so tickled to death, but they were leaving town that day as soon as they signed the papers. And she said, oh, I'll be happy to do it later. Well, here we are, September, and I still don't have that testimonial, and I've asked like 3 times. So they were tickled to death. They did a written, which was great. I appreciated that. But she's told me she would do the video, and she just hasn't. So it's just gotten harder and harder the further away. So I would encourage you, if you can do it right there on the spot, do it at the title company at closing. You know, that way you have it and it's done with. But very, very important that you get them. And I can tell you, it's really hard to get them from everybody, even though they're appreciative of the time that you spent and giving them a solution and solving their problems. Some people just don't do it. So any questions on that at all? I mean, those are pretty basic there, but I think it's important because as time goes on and you start doing more deals, people are going to want to look you up. You can put these types of reviews on your websites as well, whether you use the Carrot sites or some other system, WordPress, whatever it is. You can add those, even if it's a link to your Better Business Bureau or to Google My Business reviews or whatever it is. You can put those on your website so that your customers can find those reviews. Or you can give them a direct link. In my case, I tell people, go Google TMC Property Solutions so you see who we are, what we do, and what others say about us. And that pulls right up and they can see it, okay? So highly recommend that you don't forget about this and make sure you do it. And here's another option for you too. We've done some stuff with video email, bomb video email. And it makes it really simple because if they say they'll do it, I send them an email and it's got a reply link right in it. It says reply with video. They click on it, they record the video and hit send. It's that simple. So that's another great way to add to your list of tools to try and get those testimonials. Focus. Don't try and take on the world all at once and do everything and do all kinds of deals all at the same time. When I came into the business, you know, the approach I took was I went to a free Ron the Grand event, and you know, it was free to get in, but it wasn't free to get out. What I mean is I spent a lot of money at that event buying courses that I was excited about. And then I went to the next one and they were selling a bunch of other stuff, and I got excited about all these other things, but I didn't have a mentor, or I wasn't a member of the local REI group at the time. And I didn't have anybody to tell me think about all this stuff. Don't try and do all these different things all at the same time, because you're going to end up, you're going to be doing so many things that you're not going to become a master at anything. Okay. So pick a strategy and master it. Whether that's wholesale, whether that's subject to, whether that's doing, you know, tax sales or buy and hold, whatever it is, go master that strategy first and then move on to the next one. Okay. Become the expert and then expand from there. Don't tackle everything and master nothing. Focus, focus, focus. Okay. That's, in my opinion, having been there 20 years ago, I had to really trim back all the things I was doing because, you know, it just wasn't working at the beginning. I had to really trim back and stay focused on what I was trying to do. So I would encourage you to stay focused as well. Okay, what not to do? Anybody guess what this is? Anybody? Come on now. Somebody's got to know. Somebody that's been around a while. What is it that you shouldn't do? And you're brand new in the business.
Don't make promises you can't keep.
Well, that too. But don't quit your job. Why do I say that? You need money to live on, right? I've seen too many people come into this business. They were unemployed, or they quit their job thinking that this would happen quickly. And what they end up doing is they'll do a deal, but they had to live off the money that they earned in the deal, and they didn't have any money to reinvest back into their business. And it's just a big mistake, in my opinion, to quit too early. I think if you're unemployed today, unless you're independently wealthy and can afford it, I think you should go get a job so that you have an income, so that when you do make money in your business, you can reinvest it in your business. And that way you can keep the business growing. Okay. So, but the other point you made earlier was that, you know, don't make promises you can't keep. That's certainly a big thing that needs to be added to this presentation. You should never be doing that in this business. And that's really important in all aspects of the business, but it's really important in the subject to in owner finance world, is you shouldn't be making promises you can't keep. Okay. So hopefully this makes sense to you. Get a job, get the business growing. You know, going back to my story, you know, I gave my notice in July of 2005 that I was going to quit in July of 2006. But by that time, I had business going where I was ready to stop work. So it didn't matter to me if they would have escorted me out of the building at that time. So it just made sense for me to give that. And I just gave them an extra year is what I did. And then I left my job. So plan that exit and try not to be forced into it. You're much better positioned if you are in control of when you quit. Okay. Hope that makes sense to you. Okay, we're getting close. Never give up. This is one that, you know, if you're serious about this business, don't give up on it. You know, if something's not going right for you, seek out some help. Find a partner, find a mentor, change what you're doing, but don't give up on it just because it's not going the way you want. You know, if you get the right education, right guidance, right mentoring, right help, do the right deals, you will be successful at it. So don't give up. Too many people come in and they get out so fast, and that's evidenced by our buyers list. You know, we try and confirm our buyers list periodically, and it's amazing to me how many people either reply and say, nope, no longer in the business, or I get no response at all, or their email address is dead. So just don't give up. Give it a fair chance. Get the education that you need to be successful. And that's what we hope we're doing for you here at the West DFW REI Group. Okay, wrapping it up. What to expect next? So the audios, videos, that's all edited, and then it'll be uploaded there to the calendar for 5 September. And that's going to take you right out to the calendar page. You click on that link there, and you'll see all the video and audio and the presentation are going to be shown right here at the bottom of the page. Okay, so it's pretty simple to get there. For the paid members, it'll also be in your My Downloads area as well. PowerPoint slides, they'll all be converted to PDF. The website doesn't work well with PowerPoint. So again, they will be at the bottom of that calendar page for you. Takes a couple of days, so please be patient with us, but you'll get an email announcement when those are all posted and available for viewing. My request of you, take action and implement what you learned today. You know, it doesn't do you any good to have the knowledge if you don't implement. So go take the action and implement those things. If you need help with implementation, then reach out to us and we'll see what we can do about helping you. Okay? You know the old saying, use it or lose it. If you don't go implement this stuff and implement what you learned, you're going to lose it. You snooze, you lose. My final request of you, if you enjoyed what you learned today, go tell others about it. Post it to your social media connections and stuff. We'd appreciate it if you would give us any kind of feedback, you know, for improvement in the classes for the future. Because now that I've got these created, you know, I try and improve on them every year, every time I teach it. So if you have recommendations, if things weren't clear, if you have additional comments or topics you want to have added, then please let me know that. If you'd like to record a video testimonial for us for today's event, then just let us know, and we can do it today right after the video ends today, the call ends, or you can just drop us an email to the questions email here and we'll set up a time to do that later, or we can send you a video email request with BombBomb, which is a really cool tool. That's a very simple way to do it. Drop a note in the chat if you want to do it now when we get done with the call. Upcoming events, you know, all of our events are posted right here on this calendar of events page. I showed you that earlier. The special events for Alan Cowgill's Raising Private Money, this is probably one that you all need to attend. So come join us on the 10th. It's going to be from 9 to 1, probably be 1:30-ish or so time frame when it's finished. but that's going to be a great event. I've known Alan for years. I met him at a Ron LeGrand event way back in the early 2000s, and he has got one heck of a package. He's probably the most well-known private money guy in the country. He also gives you a very good legal presentation on the legalities of soliciting for private money in the state of Texas. It's Texas specific. So that part in itself is going to be very beneficial to you. There are some very strict SEC rules and laws on soliciting for private money. So you need to understand that, and he will teach you all that in this workshop, okay? And then I mentioned earlier, if you had joint venture deals you want to get together with us on, you can do that right here through this is my premium site with the group. And if you submit any properties there, just be sure that you put your name, email, and phone number in there and tell me that you're interested in joint venturing, so that I know it's not the seller coming into the system. Okay. Here's some more investor resources. I'm not going to go through it now, but these are the kind of reminders of the stuff we've already talked about today, but this will be in the presentation for you. And for those non-members, I just want to say membership has its benefits. And if you're not already a member, please go check out the benefits that we talked about earlier. Go to look on the benefits page and see if those benefits make sense to you. And also, you can reach out to us here if you have questions on anything at all. And if you're interested in becoming a member today only, you can use that Action Taker promo code to save yourself $20 on the annual membership. And if you decide to do that today, I will give you Ron LeGrand's Real Estate Entrepreneur in Any Company book and that CD as well. So those are available for anybody that takes action today. You must use that Action Taker code to save the $20 and to get the 2 bonuses. Again, that's until midnight tonight. And with that, I am done. Thank you very much. And I appreciate your time in coming to the class. So is there anybody have any questions at all before we end the call today?
I guess maybe I don't have a question. I have more so of maybe somewhat of a statement, but I do appreciate the meeting though. Like being a paid member is already paying off for me. So I'm seeing that one thing I am seeing is like, so, if I go through the process, I want to get out of still feeling too new. Like I've seen like hours of videos and everything, but one thing I think that does hang me up from, like if I contact someone, I feel like I don't know enough about the financing options to accurately help somebody. I don't want to go in with just maybe 1 or 2 ways of knowing how to solve a problem, and neither one of those options work, and I leave money on the table, or I walk out on the deal. But I guess I got to realize sometimes that may happen in me growing. I think that's just what I get in my own head about things.
It's absolutely going to happen unless you have a photographic memory of everything you read and hear. You are going to have that happen to you. But you know how you get over that? You keep doing it. You have to go through the motions, all those steps of those daily activities that we talked about. You've got to do the pre-screening of sellers on the phone. You've got to go visit the sellers, and you got to make the offers. And if you go out and talk to a seller and you find out more about their particular situation, then go back to me, or we can, whether you want a joint venture or you just want to do an hourly consulting call or just have a quick question, we can talk about that. But go back to somebody that can help you. Don't just walk away from that deal. Ask for help. You're going to learn from every single. Today I still learn when I go out and talk to sellers. I learn something new. So the more you do it, though, the faster you're going to learn it, and the more you're going to learn. So don't let that stop you from doing it.
Okay.
Hey, Tim, can you guys hear me? This is Lisa McCormick.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I just wanted to comment kind of on both your class and what the gentleman that just spoke said. One of the things about credibility, since I have a degree in finance and I used to be a stockbroker and I know banks, is that you have to have credibility as a finance person too. Know your own finance and what you need to live on, but also have your own net worth statement, because some banks or some private investors are going to ask for that. Because I have loaned out, money, so I've had to look at people's, their credibility isn't just in the deals they do. It's, do they really have, money or a history of dealing with it? Because some people can get over their head with the money.
Well, I mean, there's a lot to be said about that. You do have to understand your finances, but one of the things that I always try and teach is using other people's money and not yours. That's one way that I've been able to maintain my 838 credit score, is by never tying up my finances in real estate investing. And that's one of the things that I think probably for anybody that's been in the group for very long, you'll probably agree that we talk about those kind of strategies often, whether it's hard money, private money, seller financing. I do everything I can to do deals that won't impact my personal credit. And I think that's an approach for all of you as well. But there are times that it's worth using a conventional lender, if it means getting a deal done, right? As much as we'd like to all buy houses with no money, do you want to lose a deal that's got 100 grand equity in it or profit for you? No. So in a deal like that, you want to use conventional financing or hard money or whatever, if it means getting the deal done. So is it better to buy with no money out of your own pocket? Absolutely. It's less risk. It's safer for you. You keep your cash for your business, your personal needs. And that's the way I've always done it. So, but there are other people that, do conventional financing on every deal they do. But that doesn't work for everybody. And it also is very limiting on what you do.
Tim, I have a question.
Yes.
So when you meet the sellers in person for the first visit and you're walking through the house, do you find most of them expect you to make them an offer on the spot, or are they patient if you have to go back and, do some research and crunch some numbers?
I've seen it all, Lisa. A lot depends on how critical a situation it's in that they have, if they're trying to do something really quick. But I find most people respect the fact that I go back and be more detailed in my analysis and then give them the offer. But there are people that would rather have it on the spot, but that's typically not me. I personally rarely do it on the spot.
I mean, I would think if you did on the spot, you would have to really do it low, to cover your butt.
Absolutely. And that's, and I've had to tell people that if you want an offer today, now, I'm going to have to give you a lowball. As long as you understand that, I can do that. But that I really prefer not to do that. I just think it's unfair to them, and it maybe sets the thought in their mind that you're going to give me a lowball offer and I'm not interested. So most of them respect the best offer by me going back and doing my final analysis and then give them the offer.
How long does it usually take you to get back to them? A day?
I try to do it the next day at the latest. A lot depends on what's going on too. Like if I were to go look at a deal yesterday and knowing I had the meeting today, I would have to tell the seller that, look, I have this going on. Can I call you Sunday or can I call you Monday with that? So I try and tell them if it's going to be longer than that.
Okay. And then also on the free website, I haven't activated mine yet, but does it have a push page, you know, a lead gen page that'll capture some of their information?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on there. What else? Anybody?
Hey, Tim, it's JJ.
Hi, JJ.
Can you hear me? Okay.
I can.
Two quick questions. One, where can I get that 10th anniversary shirt? And two, is Alan Cowgill's seminar in person or is that a webinar? I've been knowing Alan for a long time too. He helped me get started back in the day.
Yep. Unfortunately, it's going to be a webinar. He is not traveling. He's already made the comment that he's not traveling the remainder of 2020 because of COVID, and the place that we typically meet at is not open back up yet either. So, you know, there's still a lot of reservation with folks, you know, plus we have the laws that we got to comply with. But yeah, it's going to be a virtual just like this. So the t-shirt, I'll have to drop us an email, JJ, to what size you need, and I'll have to see if we still have any that size.
Fantastic. I mean, I've been a member ever since you launched the website, but haven't been able to get out there. And now with retiring, hopefully you'll see me more on these calls as well as in person when that starts back up. And I will give you a video testimonial later for the sub 2 class. I'm already getting a lot out of it. I just need to get out there and make something happen.
Cool. So when are you coming back to Texas?
I'm in the process of moving right now, and my official retirement date is November.
Is that all your belongings in the back seat I see?
That we're going back and forth. So yeah, we're making it. It'll be full on the way back.
Cool. Well, welcome. Anybody else? Any other comments, questions? Was it good today? Did you get a lot out of it?
Yes. Thank you, Tim.
So, you know, I'm serious when I say, you know, I probably have missed some things. So if you think of anything, even after we hang up today, if you think of anything, send it to the questions email and we'll add it to the presentation for the future. And if I need to comment back to you, answer a question and stuff, I'll be happy to do that. But I do want to make it better for the next go around when I teach it again. And if anyone thinks they'd like to see, you know, an in-depth version of this where we get into some real detail, then and talk numbers and stuff like that, let me know so I know if there's enough interest there. I can go turn it into a full day or half a day workshop or something. So I just don't know. I don't want to do it if everybody's not interested. So.
Hey, Tim, one thing I would suggest is maybe getting a name tag for when you can't wear the shirts. You know, I'm surprised when I wear my realtor tag in public, how many people just stop and either make comments about the market or ask me specifically. And I've even been approached or, hey, can you help me?
That's a pretty good idea.
Because us women don't wear t-shirts all the time like you men do.
Yeah, I know. No, that's a good idea, Lisa.
Hey team, I have another question. I'm Jo, so I am a new member. I just registered today.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, so I am looking for like investments like a flip or a buy and hold, right? So for like investor like me, I will be a passive investor. Maybe I have a job, but like it's kind of stressful. I'm working like 60 hours with 2 kids at home, so I'm trying to like to get a financial freedom. That's my end goal, right? So, so like I mean, like investors like me, like who are more interested to like to buy and hold on rental properties or like to do flips. Like, do you have any videos or what things to be considered, right? I mean, like I'm very new to the investment group in itself. So what things to be considered and like, what are the checklists that I have to make sure before I sign up on a deal? Or even how to like, understand if like whatever the deal is legitimate or if the deal is good, is it like makes sense for me to go and, and offer a particular deal?
So So there's a lot of questions there with many answers to those questions, Joe. So if you would drop your email in the chat to me, so I'll respond back to you and reach out to you one day and try and answer some of those questions. And we'll see if that doesn't help you that way.
Yeah, I'm also looking for a mentor, like, for the first couple of deals, like, just like walk with, like whatever the information I have with, and like another pair of eyes, just taking a look at the deal and, making sure that we're doing the proper.
I know somebody.
Okay.
Just mention that in the chat to me as well, and we'll talk about that too.
Sure.
Okay, anybody else? Well, I am, when we hang up here, I'm heading down to my Granbury rehab and just check on it because all the realtor activity and showings and stuff, but I think I'm gonna have it under contract tonight or tomorrow for $15,000 over my asking price, which I'm pretty happy about that. Aren't you, Lisa?
Are they doing an appraisal addendum on that?
I don't know how many, I know some of the offers had an appraisal addendum. I don't know if this one that we're looking at does. We got a best and highest of 5 o'clock tonight, and then we'll go through and review them all. So
I've even gone back on my top few highest offers and asked if they would do an appraisal addendum, for us to consider their offer. And the good thing about me doing that little bit of extra step is that I found out real quick who was already tapped out, because the agent would say, oh, they absolutely can't because it's all they can do. And at least that gave me some insight to their strength. If we did have a short appraisal, them offering, 15,000 over like that. Because I just had a deal that closed for 13,500 over list.
Good.
And they did do an appraisal addendum for a majority of that overage.
That's a good question, though. I'll mention that to the agent. I will tell you that the sales price is $265 and they're putting $210 down in cash.
Oh, well.
So they obviously want the house, right?
Then they probably can do an appraisal addendum if they have that much cash.
Right. So we'll see.
But you have to look at that third party real close,
Right. Yeah, well, I haven't spent too much time looking at them all just because there's 4 of them now and we got a best and highest deadline by 5 today. So, but I'm just going down to check on the house, make sure all looks good since we've had all the rain and stuff. So, all righty. Well, listen, everybody, I appreciate your time today. I hope this has been beneficial to you. Again, if anybody wants to do the video testimonials, be sure you reach out to us and let us know that. We'd really appreciate that. And until next time, go buy a house.
Thanks so
Stay
much.
safe out there.
Thank you.
Have a great day.